Good evening and welcome along to Extra Time here on Fox's Hub following a Leicester City victory again at King Power Stadium. That's 3 in a row now that we have seen here. Big last 4 games, wasn't it, for the end of the season. The first one has started with a victory. Leicester need 2 from the remaining 3 to absolutely guarantee promotion. That's with all the other teams, of course, winning as well. So it may not need to be 2, but we'll see. We'll see. There's a big game tonight. We'll preview that, involving Leeds, of course, ahead of Leicester's game tomorrow with Southampton. We've got a very busy show coming up to talk about that, to talk all things Leicester City, of course, between now and 7 o'clock. Iwan Roberts will take us globe-trotting as well. One of our features will also go head-to-head at the end of the show with Football Jenga, which I know Walshy is really looking forward to doing. Walshy, aren't you?
Globe-trotting. I've got Jenga. What we played tonight.
As ever, we want you guys who are watching at home to get involved with the show. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, get your comments in, get your questions for our esteemed panel in the comments section. We'll read out some of the best ones. Right, we've seen all of our guests tonight. We've got the usual Iwan Roberts and Tony Cottee duo, but we've got a special guest this evening in Steve Walsh, aka Walshy. Good evening to you, mate. It's always great to have you.
Good evening, everybody. TC, Ewan.
TC,
good to see
Walshy.
you, lads.
Walshy, how you doing?
All right, TC. Yeah.
Good evening.
Brilliant, Walshy, wasn't it, on Saturday?
Yeah, wonderful result it was. We rode our luck. Could you say that? I think that's the right phrase to say. But you know, when I looked afterwards at the scenes and you know, the game itself, obviously it was so important to just notch them 3 points against West Brom, who are certainly going to be in the playoffs. They're a decent team, and didn't matter at this stage of the season what like I say, how you play. It's the 3 points that were vital, and we're in a strong position now, very strong. Up until before this game, there was a few nerves, I think, from right round the ground. You could sense it, but certainly, like I said, we did ride our luck, but we're there. We're in touching distance now.
I think Walshy's hit the nail on the head, Dan. It's not about how well you play now. It's not about performances. It's about getting points. It's about getting over that line. It's about finishing in the top 2, hopefully going up as champions. On the back of those 2 away defeats at Millwall and at Plymouth, the pressure was cranked up once again. But you said it in your introduction. That's three home wins on the spin now. 10 home wins in our last 13 games. It just cranks the pressure up on Ipswich, on Leeds, who play Middlesbrough tonight. If you're a West Brom fan, you probably left the King Power scratching your head how they went away empty-handed. Hamza Chowdhury was absolutely magnificent. I mean, Walsh will tell you more about the defensive side of the performance, but Hamza Chowdhury, probably the best game he's played for the football club, I think.
I guess so. You can look at it in a few aspects, really. A lot were last ditch, just I don't know.
In the right place, and that's like scoring a goal, Chief. That's like scoring a goal. What he did twice in
it was in the
that game.
right place at the right time. But the defending, for me, we were wide open at times, and we cannot be like that. It can't happen. We've got to look at that from that game and not just change things, but we've got to.
Well, it was good in the end, though, wasn't it? I mean, other than that, they had a few moments. Obviously, a few cleared off the line. Michael Norwell said,
"Well, I think we could have been
best game. The defence were really good. He liked the way that Connor Cody played. He liked the way that Hamza played, of course. And at the end of the day, Walsh, they did only concede the one goal.
Let's be positive. Yeah, I understand that. But when I break it down, when I look at it, we could have been 3-0 down after 14 minutes. I looked at the clock. 14 minutes, we could have been 3 down. There was rash defending. Diving into things, Vestergaard on the touchline. It started with trying to play out and just being a bit, casual for me. So it wasn't a great start. But we got into the game and, against the run of play, we scored the goal, really. But for me, as a defender, I always look at, and I'm a bit critical, of course, but, we have to do better in this position. This is where we've...
I think, and we spoke about it in there, we've played far better this season and won games.
Lost games.
Lost games, sorry.
Lost games, yeah.
I got it wrong then, and I got it wrong now.
Yeah.
Yeah, do
Yeah,
you know
I
what I
agree
mean?
with that, Ewan. Yeah, I do. I really do. But like I say, I am a defender, and you know that you know
You analyse
I'm
it.
being in critical in the right reasons and the right way. But like you say, Hamza, oh, gee, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. The header over the bar, the one off the you know, it was just incredible performance. But
Yeah,
but we were just a little bit all at sea. The defensive. That's what we, you know, we didn't need to be. I think we just lost our shape completely. And when you do that, that's when other teams get, you know, because they had that many chances. It was unbelievable. But you know, at the end of the day, we've done it the hard way, and it was just now that's a confidence booster going into the last 3 games, and we're almost there in touching distance. We all thought this was going to be out of sight. You know, I was just talking to you and before, and we thought Christmas time it could have been. We're looking at the most points, the most goals, and
That's
you know,
my fault.
But every fan was doing that as well. So you're caught up in the bandwagon of thinking this is going to be the best season we've ever had, and yet look, let's get back to reality. This is what it's about. It's about grinding results out. Vardy, obviously, who missed the penalty. I'm sure you're going to go into that soon, but I knew that his character would come good, and he'd be still the star of the show, and it was incredible to see.
Yeah, it felt like a really, really important victory, Tony, didn't it? I think everybody felt that on Saturday lunchtime when that final whistle went.
Yeah, first and foremost, Dan, it's great having Walsh on. No one gets a word in, do they? So it's fantastic.
Sorry, it's Matt Elliott, you mean, TC? He's the worst.
Yeah, no, I watched the game, Dan. It was live on the TV, and do you know what? I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was a really good game of football. I'm sure if from a Leicester point of view, if you're at the ground, you would have felt tense. I've listened to what the boys have said. I agree with what they say. You know, sometimes the defending, there was a lot of early chances for West Brom, and there was a lot of chances for them in the second half as well. So the result could quite easily have gone as a draw, or it could have gone the other way. But that's football, and it's, you know, the lads have touched on it. It's not about how well you play. It's not about showing great skill or anything. It's about the result. Totally and utterly about the result. Martin O'Neill used to drum it into us. It's all about the result. And it was a fantastic result for the football club. And I think a couple of things that we've touched on, Dan, over the last couple of weeks on the Monday night, I think Leicester, by winning that game, by playing first, you put pressure on other teams. You know, whether you like it or not, Southampton, they're chasing at Cardiff. I know they probably could and should have won, but it does put pressure on when you play first. And the other thing as well, which is massive for Leicester, is the home advantage. To have 3 out of 4 of your last games at home is an incredible opportunity for the football club. They've won the first one. They've got 2 more to come at home. And, you know, but tomorrow, depending on result tonight, could even be win and you're promoted. You know, that's the opportunity that Leicester have got. But playing at home, as we know, the away form has been patchy, but the home form, particularly the results, has been fantastic.
I think the 3 teams, you know, I was kind of, I should have kept Southampton in the permutations, but, you know, up until a week ago, you're thinking, you know, Southampton have just come back on the rails. And these 3 teams now, us, Ipswich and Leeds, we seem to be choking a little bit. And it's let Southampton back in there. I mean, if they'd have won on Saturday, then it would have been a different, you know, running still, especially with us playing Southampton. But, you know, you're looking at the fixtures and they are favourable now. So yeah, it is. It's all there in our hands again.
Don't forget, Southampton have to go to Leeds last day.
I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, TC's hit it on the head as well. Home form. We've won more home games than any other team in the division, along with Leeds. So I know we've lost. I think we've lost 4 at home, but in those 4 defeats, you know, we definitely should have got something from the games, in my opinion, in what I saw. And when we lost those 2 away games, you look at the remaining 4 fixtures, as you said, 3 at home. I fancied us badly, and it's just getting over the line. You know, some managers or head coaches, they call themselves now, they will analyse the performance first, then the results. But as we've spoken about it, when you're 3 or 4, 5 games away from the end of the season, it's all about getting enough points to reach your goal, and your goal is winning promotion. Doesn't matter how it comes.
Yeah, Drew Space on YouTube says at home advantage is a huge boost for us. Looking at the fixtures for the other teams, I think they each only play at home once. Leicester, of course, have those other 2 games still to play at home.
And tough games as well, I think, Dan. Both Leeds and Ipswich, haven't they? Ipswich got to go to Hull and Coventry, I think.
Leeds tonight go to
Go to
Middlesbrough and then away at QPR, who are on a decent run themselves.
Hey, we've got to go to Preston North End, so that's my hometown.
That is your
team.
hometown
So
team.
I'm actually going with my son-in-law and Zaki, my lad.
Nice.
So we're all going up there, just in remembrance for my dad, really, because it's his it'd be his game. You know, he passed away just before, just after Christmas. So I know you all know that. But so I'm going up there. We're going back to my old pub that we used to.
Half and half shirt on,
my
Walshy?
dad something.
Half and half
scarf. I'm Leicester.
I know you are, mate. I know you are.
Preston, yeah, but it's my hometown team, and it's going to be. It's going to be a good evening. Hopefully, we can get promotion, and we are promoted. So
that's a
we'll see. That's what it's all about for me. My lad's first away game as well. He's not been. He's been asking me for ages to go to an away game. So
it's a good stadium deep there as well.
Yeah, but just going back to performance with you mentioned Connor Cottee earlier, and it was great to see him lining up. I do believe he's the one real leader that we were all looking at as when he came in, that he'd step in and organise everything. Because if you look at the way and the fashion that we got relegated, we didn't seem like we had any leaders whatsoever. Last year that was clear, and it was good to see him come in. He played okay. He got caught out just in the second half. Just I think a little bit of tiredness, a long ball, blindside. He got caught out, but you can see that it was good to have him back in, and
he's a voice, Walsh, as
yeah,
well.
he is.
He organises, he puts demands on other players. And
he organises.
I don't think he's lost a game I don't think Leicester have lost a game when he started.
That is a stat. I like that one. I like that.
His last start, Tony, came away at Sunderland. They got a 1-0 victory, kept the clean sheet. Then it looked like they were going to, West Brom did have a lot of chances, didn't they? A lot of nearly moments. But with 15 minutes to go, they were on course for that clean sheet. The goal made things a little interesting, a little more nervy than we could maybe all cope with here at home on Saturday. But they relied on the likes of Connor Cottee to help get them over the line again.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the goal went in, I think it was 75th minute. I think I'm right in saying, Dan, and that leaves you 15 minutes of normal time plus all the crazy injury time we get nowadays. You're looking 20, 25 minutes where you've got to be professional, you've got to defend well, you've got to do the right things, and that's where someone like Connor Cottee comes into it. I went up to Everton's training ground a few years ago and had the privilege of meeting him. He seems a really nice lad, but you can tell he's a leader. And I felt all along when Leicester signed, firstly, Harry Weeks and Connor Cottee, I thought they were two terrific signings for the club, because you get that experience. And, when you get into this scenario of trying to get promotion, that you need the leaders. Connor's a leader. And, he was vital in what went on in the last 20 minutes. And, I'm sure Walshy would have appreciated it. I'm struggling to remember, after the West Brom goal went in, I'm struggling to remember a clear-cut chance of West Brom. I don't think they had one. And that says everything about what you need to know about this Leicester team. They had to dig in. It's not easy. It's very easy to lose concentration, but they didn't do that. And you could see the relief. You could see the manager when the final whistle went. I'm sure the fans. I wasn't there obviously, but I'm sure the fans, that huge sigh of relief, and players as well. Because it's tough. It might only be 20, 25 minutes, but to concentrate that long defensively is very, very difficult at times, So fair play to Leicester. They needed to be professional, and they've done a great job in the end.
I think the atmosphere after the game, because I watched from my room, and it was like we'd won the league already.
Was it like Birmingham?
It was, yeah.
The Birmingham game went even more, was it?
Yeah, but it was even more because there were party. It was almost like a party, an after party, as though we've done it. But obviously,
I've not been to one of them, Walshy.
I
don't get invited to them.
But yeah, it was great. So it's great to see, celebration, because it was a vital game in this running. And
what people don't realise, all the pressure was on Leicester. There's no pressure on West Brom really. They can go out, they can play with the freedom. They're guaranteed a playoff place, more or less. They can go out and express themselves. They're coming to the best team in the Championship, a magnificent stadium, a team that they haven't had too much success over in the past. I think it was the 6th consecutive win for Leicester against West Brom. There's no pressure on them.
I think pressure plays a big part.
Absolutely,
in
absolutely.
If you're fighting for relegation,
It's only natural.
It is natural, and some players can't handle the pressures as much as other people, as we all know, and it's a very nervy time. But it's who just keeps that head, keeps the discipline, So like I say, that's why that was a key 3 points, and for me, it's probably the one we'll look back at.
It was a good Saturday. It was a good Saturday.
Very much so.
It was a good Saturday
because obviously Southampton losing as well. We'll keep talking about the game on Saturday, Tony. But David Fallows on YouTube makes a good point. He says the Southampton game hopefully will play into our hands because they can't really sit back and accept a point anymore. They know they've got to basically come here and they've got to win their remaining 3 games, haven't they? And that includes obviously tomorrow evening. Will that help Leicester? Do you think will that suit Leicester?
Yeah, you'd like to think so, Dan. I mean, again, we spoke about many times before about a lot of these teams that come to Leicester. It's almost like their cup final. They know they're playing against one of, if not the best side in the Championship. A lot of the time you can set up defensively. You get 11 men behind the ball, break us down. That's what they say. That's the challenge to Leicester. And, Leicester with their sort of passing and moving, etc. And that sometimes it can be very difficult to break teams down like that. But, the lad's right about it because Southampton, they've got to win. If a draw's no good for Southampton. If they lose, they lose. But they've got to come to the KP with the mentality of we have to win this football match. And by doing that and by having to go for goals, they've got to push forward. They might not do it straight away because it's important to get it right tactically. But at some stage, albeit it might not be in the first half, it might be in the second half, but at some stage, they've got to go all guns blazing at Leicester to try and get at least 1 goal. And when they do that, as we know, Leicester have got more than enough talent, particularly in that front 3 on the counter-attack, to just pick them off and that, So I think it'd be an interesting game tactically. I really do. I
mean, they've lost 2 of their last 9. Both have been away. One was at Ipswich, and I don't know if you saw the game. It was live on TV on Easter Monday, where the lad on loan from Brighton scored the winner in the 96th minute. Yeah, Sammy Enter scored the winner in the 96th minute. On Saturday, I mean, they should have been done and dusted at the Cardiff City Stadium at half-time. The chances they had, they scored an early goal. Didn't get that second one to kill the game off. Sort of gave Cardiff a chance, which they took. Young Welsh boy Kieran Ashford scored the winner on his home debut in the 97th minute. So the last 2 games
Ipswich had a similar thing, didn't it? 90 plus 8 minutes as well.
Ipswich always score late goals. Ipswich always, but they are the top scorers in the division. But something happened on 80 minutes. Adam Armstrong had to come off with an injury. So, I mean, he's the top scorer. I think we spoke about the EFL team of the year last week. He was in it. I think only Keenan and Rutter and Leif Davis have created more goals than him. So he's an absolute handful. I mean, it'll be a right result if he's not fit for tomorrow night. That'll be a massive blow for them.
What is going to be very interesting is going to be the starting lineup after a Saturday, Tuesday game.
Good point.
That will be very interesting what he starts with because you don't know.
There's a bigger gap though till Monday.
Yes, yeah, there is.
So will that play into it?
It could do, but
I think you've got to play your best team.
Yeah,
I think you've got to play your best team.
I think so as well. But you've got to look at the age of. Well, you've got to look at Cody. You've got to look at the lads who were, Saturday, Tuesday. I remember it was quite hard to play, back to back like that for someone who's getting on a little bit. Obviously the younger you are, you seem to have a little bit more in the tank, don't you? But it's going to be an interesting lineup to start up with. But I think agree with you that you've got to go because you can kill this off, on Tuesday night.
Yeah. Do you agree, Tony?
Yeah, I'm just sort of thinking about the team lineup. I think Ewan chipped in there by saying you've got to play your best team. I totally agree with that. You have to do that. But I think in general, the manager has picked his best team. He seems to have his 8 or 9 players that he sort of plays all the time. And then he just sort of change a couple of positions, particularly the centre forward position. Is Jamie able to play tomorrow night? Can he perform? He did come off. What was it? 10 minutes to go from the end. Will he start with Patson Daka? Because he might do it that way. on the basis of bringing Jamie on, because if Southampton push forward, there's no better counter-attacking centre forward than Jamie Vardy, so he might have that in his mind as well. I don't know what the injury situation is with Ricardo. Is he going to be fit? I don't know, because if you leave Hamza out, you can't leave him out after that performance. He was magnificent at the weekend, so he needs to stay in the team. So I don't think there'll be too many changes. The only possible one for me could be the centre forward.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see what Enzo Maresca does tomorrow evening. Don't forget, you can get all of the team news with us on Matchday Live. Iwan Roberts, one of the guests here in the studio for that one. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. That means we'll be live from 7. Supporters are also being encouraged, if you are coming to King Power Stadium tomorrow, to be in your seats for 7:40, because there'll be
There's a light show,
stuff going on. Yeah, so everyone get to their seats relatively early for the game tomorrow. We've had plenty of people getting in touch with us, the majority about Hamza Chowdhury really and his fantastic performance on Saturday. Andreas, though, says, good evening all, buzzing with the win. We had chances to score more, they had chances to score more, but we deserved it for the hard work that we put in. And Bubba, good evening to Bubba, one of our regular viewers. He says, evening all, hard to believe we could actually get promoted tomorrow with a little help from Middlesbrough, obviously, tonight. So a reminder, which has already been said a couple of times this evening, if Middlesbrough beat Leeds tonight and Leicester win tomorrow, then promotion is secured in front of their own fans here at King Power Stadium tomorrow evening. So hopefully that is the case. Right, let's do the first of our Lurdles then this evening. For those of you like Walshy who are relatively new to the show, we will play snippets of commentary of a Leicester City goal. You've got to tell us who scored it and who the opposition was. The clues will get easier and easier as the commentary goes on and on, so don't worry if you can't get it from this first 10 seconds, and get your answers in both on Facebook and on YouTube.
Turkish international as it goes back to the Irishman Evans, and then the Frenchman Fofana close to the halfway line. Tillemans coming to claim the ball. First time to the right to Castagna.
There we go. That's all you're getting for clue 1. So as the commentary goes on, you'll get more and more clues. I'll play it one more time.
Turkish international as it goes back to the Irishman Evans, and then the Frenchman Fofana close to the halfway line. Tillemans coming to claim the ball. First time to the right to Castagna.
Ewan has guessed Kelechi Iheanacho. That's not right.
It sounds like a thingy game.
Not much crowd noise here, Dan.
Yeah.
No, correct.
Yeah.
Yes, there are a few clues in there, so you can probably guess the season then because of that. No fans. Not much crowd noise.
You sure I'm not right?
I'm sure. I'm sure. There's always a link as well. We always
that's what I'm
pick
thinking.
either the goal scorer or the team as a
Can I have a
link
guess?
as to why. Write it down and we'll have a look. I'll tell you what, we'll go to Tony again because both Ewan and Walshy have both said it, or Walshy obviously being here and myself being here, you could really feel at full time the outpouring of positive emotion. And I think that is purely because of the way that Leicester were able to hold on. We've seen a few games where they have conceded quite late and they didn't. And actually in that last 15 minutes, they didn't have any, I don't think, standout chances, West Brom. The defence was relatively resolute. Okay, they did put Leicester under pressure, but they did so well to keep them out. And a special mention, I think, to Harry Winks, who won a free kick right at the very, very end on the right-hand side to just pretty much get Leicester over the line. And it was a really gutsy performance.
Yeah, it was, Dan. And you mentioned Harry Winks. He, as I say, he's an experienced professional player now, and he knows what to do. But, even with experienced players, sometimes they just make silly mistakes. They do silly things and that. And it's, I know sometimes the fans can get a little bit frustrated, but sometimes, rather than going for goal, you run towards the corner flag, and we see players do it and everyone has a bit of a moan up and that bit. You're trying to be professional, and I don't always like using that word, being professional, but you're trying to kill the game off. You're trying to buy time. If you can win a free kick like what Harry did, you have to do things like that, But as I said earlier, it says it all, that the West Brom never created a clear-cut chance in that last 20 minutes or so. And that, and when that final whistle went, it was, you could see, I watched the manager's reaction, I watched the coach's reaction, I watched the players' reaction, I watched them all going towards Hamza Chowdhury because they knew how vital those two incidents where he cleared it off the line. The first one done it once, and the second one he done it twice. Because I'm watching on the telly, I'm thinking, well, that's a good save, and it wasn't. He's cleared it off the line. He jumps up and heads it over the bar. It was an amazing incident, But that sort of, it's a relief, isn't it? Because the difference, and I think if you look at what happened last season to Leicester, and if you're winning a game 2-1, you're watching that game as a fan. You're in relegation trouble. And you know that you're going to concede a goal and you're going to end up drawing the game, and then 2 points are gone. And that's exactly what happened last season. And this season, in general, as we know, Leicester they've been killing the games off. It's been difficult the last sort of 6 weeks or so. We know that. But in general, they've killed the games off. They've defended well. They've been professional. And there've been quite a few games where there's been like a 1-0 or a 2-1. And to me, that's a sign of a good team. You can't win 4s and 5-0s all the time in the Championship. It's absolutely impossible.
Finley B has said Hamza against West Brom was brilliant. Domino Kid says the heart that Hamza displayed on Saturday hopefully will wake a lot of the players up. I think we will now blow teams away between now and the end of the season. That would be great if they did. If, as Tony says, it is just by the odd goal, it doesn't matter. That's what it takes to win. But let's just do a bit of a Hamza Chowdhury appreciation for the next 5 minutes or so, because to clear 3 off the line in one game is a great effort anyway. The double one that Tony was referencing there is phenomenal. And actually,
in the second half, where he's headed it over the bar, it's just landed on the roof of. I just thought doing the horrible things in a game where a lot of players don't like to do them. When you've got to dig in, you've got to get tight, you've got to nick the ball, you got to get your tackles in. I thought he did everything and more. And this is a lad who, he's a Leicester boy, he's a Leicester fan, he's one of their own, as they call them now. He obviously cares massively. He was sent out on loan last season to Watford, and I think that would have hurt him. I think he had a great season at Watford, even though they never sort of reached where they wanted to be. But I think he was one of their best performances from what I hear. He's come back. He probably knows if everybody's fit, especially in that midfield area. When we've spoken about Ndidi, Winks, and Dewsbury Hall, and how good they are and what they're capable of. So he knows he's going to maybe have to bide his time to get a chance in midfield. But the way the manager likes to play with the inverted right back, if Ricardo isn't fully fit, he's obviously seen something in Hamza, and he's given him that opportunity in that position because he's a good defender. He knows the defensive side of the game, which we saw Saturday. And I loved it at the end of the game where Enzo sort of went straight up to him, put his arm around him, sort of pointing at his head, going to all four stands. It was the Hamza appreciation.
Where I was sat, Ewan, where I sit in the gallery. It was prime position to see, the reaction, the instinctive reaction that happened. And I must admit, I thought it was in, and just how he reacted and got up quickly. It was just brilliant, and he is that kind of instinctive player. We know that, and like you say, he certainly saved us. And there was, like you said, there were 3. It felt like there were about 5 goal-bound chances that he helped us out with. So
it's great anticipation.
He was, yeah, absolutely, and but that's what a defender is there for. But you could say we rode our luck, but that wasn't. That was just instinctive brilliance.
That's good defending, that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good defending.
Yeah, you'd be annoyed, Tony, as a striker, if you've got your shot on target in the way that those West Brom players had, and then you find suddenly Hamza Chowdhury on the line there to clear it. But I was just saying the Mads Hermansen save involved in the second one where Hamza then clears it off the line is also an incredible save. It's gone a little bit under the radar just because it was Hamza who cleared it off the line twice, but that was an unbelievable piece of goalkeeping as well.
Yeah, I think you have to defend like that sometimes, don't it? I think it was Johnson, the West Brom player, who sort of, with the first one, he just done him with the eyes, done the goalkeeper, whipped it across, and there's, Hamza's on the line, and that it was fantastic clearance. And like I say, the second one for me was brilliant. But I want to sing his praises because defensively, I think defenders switch off, and I know you're not going to like me saying this, Walshy, but I think attackers are always thinking like the goalkeeper's going to palm it down, it's going to hit the bar, it's going to hit someone, it's going to land at my feet. And as a forward, I've made a career out of it where you're always trying to think that something's going to happen and you're ready for it. I think defensively, I don't think defenders always do that. It's not a natural thing for them to think, oh, I'll stand on the line, or the ball might hit the crossbar, or the goalkeeper's going to save it. They don't always think that. It's not always in a defender's makeup to think that way. So, I'm giving him real praise here because I think his anticipation, the first one, he was on the run, so he sort of almost ended up on the line a little bit. But I think the second one was possibly off the back of the first one, where he cleared it off the line. He's probably thinking, I've done it once, so if I get on the line, it might happen again. And it did, and fair play to him as well. And I think he's maturing as a player. I remember him coming into the team, 2, 3, 4 years ago, whatever it was. He was a little bit rash with things. There was a few sort of clumsy tackles, just sort of learning the game, really. And he seems to have settled down a little bit now. And I think now he's settled down, you're seeing what a good player he is as well, because he strolls around. He's got that sort of long lolloping style when he runs type of thing. I like him as a player. I think he brings a lot to the team.
TC, you are so lucky you're not in the studio, mate, because I tell you what, if you're in the studio, you're getting two-footed by Walshy.
TC, don't forget I played up front, so I know that instinct and that. So I guess, I understand where you're going with it.
Defenders in general, I said.
Yes, in general,
different. Elliot was different because he could play up front. But
well, that's where I learned to react
to.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And don't forget, that was my finest hour at Wembley.
I was going to say all those Wembley goals that I've got sat next to me. Let's do clue number 2 for our Lurdle then this evening. Scott has asked if he's missed the first part. It doesn't matter. We'll play clue number 2 now so you can hear that as well. We've already had the Vardy against Spurs guess from Bubba. Not quite. It isn't Vardy against Spurs. Stuart Russell, good evening to you, Stuart. Actually met him this week, so it was nice to put a face to the name Stuart. He said Daka against Man United. It is not Daka against Man United. So I'll play you clue number 2. A reminder, we are looking for the goal scorer and the team that it was scored against.
Turkish international as it goes back to the Irishman Evans. And then the Frenchman Fofana close to the halfway line. Tillemans coming to claim the ball. First time to the right to Castagna. There might be space here if Iheanacho can feed it back to the right. He goes to Tillemans. Then it is Castagna.
So there's clue number 2. It's fairly obvious what season it is. You can hear a pin drop actually there, can't you?
2020.
Ewan is really underlining the name Kelechi Iheanacho, and I'm telling you, Ewan, it is not right. I'm sure you've done a bit of research to figure out what the link might be, but it is incorrect.
Was I doing the co-coms for this game? Because you normally look to stitch me up. Was I co-coms for this game?
You weren't for this one. You weren't.
No, okay. One. No. That's good. That's good.
No, it was Matt on co-coms for this one.
Okay.
So we'll hear that. We've just had a guess in. Chris says, is it Damari Gray? No, it's not Damari Gray, but thank you for the guess nonetheless. We had a message as well a little bit earlier from Jikan, and this is pretty much for you, Ewan, because you're usually the stat man for you. So he says, Dan, I have a stat for Ewan. In the 13-14 season, Jamie Vardy scored 16 goals in the Championship as Leicester got promotion. 10 years later, he's got 15 with 3 games left. He's asking you, will he better that? Will he get 2 in his last 3? Will he maybe go level with it? We hope he can better it.
I think he will. I think he'll at least level. I think he'll get 16. I mean,
I've had 16 once in one season.
What, playing up front?
Yeah.
That was the season before I signed.
Defensive and up front. Yeah.
Fair play, Walshy. Fair play. I mean, it's
top scorer, Walshy. Was your top scorer?
I was obviously that season. Yeah.
His stats are unbelievable, and I think he'd scored his previous 12 penalties before Saturday. That's what I heard on. Wow. Yeah.
You two must have had 25. What's that? 25?
34.
34. Yeah. CC?
29 was my best. 29.
Wow. Still excellent, that, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, 461 appearances is now the club's 4th highest.
4th highest, yeah.
Yeah. Who's 7th highest? Do you know?
You'll tell us, I'm sure.
He's not too far away.
Yeah. Who's 4th? Who's 4th?
Jamie Vardy.
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone up. Yeah, he's had 100 on the bench, mate. I was, you know what I mean. He's had hundreds of them.
He's 3rd top scorer in the club's history, 187 goals now. I mean, what a servant he's been for the football.
And do you know what? Just keeping on the subject, because I'm not being funny. He looked sharp. You know, he got well in for the penalty. You know, he just blocked him. You know, the defender. a lot of talk. I can hear it, and I don't like it because he's been a lone striker by himself. The way we play, he's limited in his touches of the ball.
Doesn't get frustrated, does he?
No. He's just by this time he's patient, and he still looks sharp to me. So I don't see that everyone. There's always some. Miss a penalty and he's going, oh, he's finished. It's finished. It's a fan's reaction. But come on. I knew. As soon as he missed that penalty, I knew he'd still be the match winner, or he'd have an influence in the game.
His 8th goal in 11 appearances against West Brom.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's got 15 in 32. He's not started 32 games. I mean, I think goals per game ratio, he won't be far off being the main centre forward in the division.
I can tell you his goals per 90.
That's what I want.
Across all competitions this season, 0.9. So he's nearly scored a goal every 90 minutes that he's played.
Yeah, but you look at some of the goals as well. You think, wow, these were.
He was unlucky with the first.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It's a great
Save
save to be fair from the keeper.
And do you know what? I thought what a flick that was, and the keeper made a great save.
Fantastic indeed. He following things in.
Yeah, you're right.
Sign of a great goal scorer, boys. As you know, he's like, you're not afraid to miss chances. You miss chances. He had the header that was saved where he scored. You then missed the penalty. He's unfortunate with the penalty. Goalkeeper's guessed right. He's probably at the corner of his eye, seen he's going the right way. He's then trying to whip it a little bit more. It's hit the post and come out. No sulking from Jamie Vardy. And nothing ever seems to faze Jamie Vardy. That's what I like about him. You have to have that single-mindedness, that determination, that confidence in yourself. And you've got to be in the right frame of mind, because it was a great cross from Nick Fatawu. It was a wonderful cross, but he's in the right position. He gets up, heads it down, does everything right. Brilliant goal coming off the back of being a little bit frustrated with what's gone on earlier in the game. I've got nothing but praise for Jamie.
That's
He's been a fantastic.
That's his character to respond in adversity. It's unbelievable, really. And like you say, he's just he keeps going and going. And I still believe that whatever happens this season, for next season, he's got to still be here.
Yeah, how good was that from Abdul Fatawu, Tony, going on to his weaker right foot and chipping that brilliant ball over?
Oh, it was the shimmy as well, Dan. When you watch it, you're thinking, what's he done there? Because the defender he didn't just go a little bit. He went the whole, like out the picture, like what I'm doing there. That's how much he went. It was incredible skill, and which is great. But how many times do you see players do that? They get to the byline and then they try and smash it across, or they hit the first defender, which drives you mad as a centre forward, especially someone like Ewan who's queuing up at the far post for a chip ball. It was a fantastic cross. You don't see enough of it nowadays, where a player just gets under it, sort of almost dinks it with a little bit of curl away from the goalkeeper. It was a fantastic bit of skill. I really enjoyed the skill. Great header as well from Jamie Vardy.
Well, the header itself, Ewan, is something you probably would have been proud of, because I think it was Furlong, wasn't it, the fullback, that he out-jumped. He's not small, so he's done well to get in front of him and use his strength there to...
When you think he's not an old-fashioned number 9, he's not like me and Walshy, but we scored from 2 crosses. And I think maybe that...
Vardy got his head on both.
Yeah, maybe that's something that we probably...
And I remember there was one from Mavididi, went right across the goal, was it? Do you remember that? That opportunity. Oh, it's a terrific ball. Yeah. Beat everybody.
And we spoke about Fatawu. He gets to the byline, stands a great ball up. I'd love to see him do more of that, because time and time again he sort of wants to cut in on his inside and shoot with his left foot, and he's fantastic at doing that. But I just like to see him sort of plant that little bit of seed of doubt in the left back's mind, where he's not always going to cut in. He's capable of going down the line and putting good delivery into the box. I mean, it was a magnificent ball. But yeah, I mean, Jamie Vardy, I want that header. Yeah. That's my ball. It's going in the back of the net.
Looking at these two wingers, Fatawu, Mavididi, for a while, I think, as a defender, you're probably thinking this is what he's going to do. He's going to always come back inside. But I noticed with Mavididi now, and he must be working on it, because he's having one step and he's going outside now and he's causing a problem. So the defender doesn't really know what he's doing. It's very difficult with the skill levels and the pace he's got. And there were many a times he's gone in and then he's gone down the left. I like to see that, and then put the cross in, and instead of coming back onto your other foot. So it worked quite well for me, these wingers.
Yeah, Nico on YouTube says it was a great performance from Jamie Vardy. He Firstly, won the flick on for Ndidi. Obviously, could
Yeah.
have scored himself with that one. Ndidi knocking it in.
Yep.
Secondly, he wins the penalty. Thirdly, he scores the winner.
He's influenced the game massively, and that's why I'm saying to you, I don't like the rumblings that people are saying he's finished. Let's give him a
him
lot
what he
more
deserves,
time. Yeah,
absolutely.
what he deserves, as
Yeah.
well as because I'll tell you what, without him, life wouldn't be the same for me.
15 and 32, boys.
Yeah,
15 and 32.
yeah.
It's not bad.
And in this way of, like you say, the patient
Go on,
way
Tony.
we're playing, it's a different way for him.
Walshy, you have to keep people like Jamie Vardy at the football club. It drives me mad. Someone like yourself should have been kept at the football club. When you get these circles, you give everything to the club and they're there 10, 12 years and that. What experience can he pass on to those young kids? If you've got young centre forwards coming through, learn from the master. Don't get rid of them. Just keep him. He doesn't have to play every game. If Leicester get back in the Premier League, he doesn't have to play every game, but keep him part of the squad. It's so important going forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Drew Space on YouTube, I think, is a nice way to end it, actually, on Jamie Vardy, because he says Vardy's influence is impossible to measure. He's the ultimate striker and the Leicester GOAT. And it doesn't just have to be Leicester, does it? I think could even be the Premier League one. He's been that incredible, hasn't he? Right, we've had loads of guesses for our Lardle. They're all wrong. So Bubba, Nico, Scott, Andreas, Chris, you're all wrong. Stuart's had another go as well on Facebook. That is wrong as well. So we'll play clue number 3 for our Lardle. Gives away the goal scorer, but we're still looking then for the team that it was scored against.
First time to the right to Castagna. There might be space here if Iheanacho can feed it back to the right. He goes to Tielemans, then it is Castagna, and he's through here, and he slid it through to Jamie Vardy, and Jamie Vardy has given Leicester City the lead.
Bubba was half right.
Bubba was half right. He's the only one that's guessed Jamie Vardy so far. So
You'd
well
have
done.
thought everyone would.
Yeah.
We take it for granted,
The amount
don't
that
we,
we're
that he
talking
scores
about
every
it.
goal.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got the goal scorer. We need the team that it was scored against. There is a bigger clue coming in clue number 4. So listen out for that. But if anyone thinks they can guess the team, then do get that in as well. Again, final point on Jamie Vardy, because I'm wary that we seem to spend every show talking about him, but why not? Kerry says on Facebook, I agree with Walshy. We shouldn't be writing Jamie Vardy off. He's still got loads to offer, and he is our top scorer this season after all. Right, let's take a look to see how some of the Leicester City players have reacted on social media to that victory on Saturday. Abdul Fatawu on X said, big 3 points, lads. What a team performance. And what a team performance it was, of course. Kiernan, I'm proud of the lads. He was happy, of course, wasn't he? There were some great celebrations, actually, not just after the goals, but, of course, at full time.
That's a good one.
Well, another good one from
That's good, yeah.
lads as well, focusing now on Tuesday. I was at Seagrave, incidentally, today. Everyone, the focus really is on tomorrow, which is good to
That's
see.
all he needs
Jamie
to
Vardy.
say.
You know exactly, by the way, where he's looking in that picture, don't you? At which corner of the stadium he's looking when he does that. Jamie Vardy
Actually,
always rustling
I don't think he was then, because he took a long time signalling, I think, to his box, to his family. I'm sure.
We'll see. Right, Andreas says, is it Vardy against Southampton? It isn't. I can see why you've guessed that, though. He was thinking the link could be the game tomorrow. It isn't. So we're still looking for who the goal scorer is in our Lardle, which we'll do fairly shortly. I'll tell you what, we'll do it after we've gone globe-trotting with Iwan Roberts. It's the part of the show where he takes the reins and he takes a look at something
The Globetrotters.
wasn't
I went to watch them in
Leicester-related.
Blackpool, I was a steward at Blackpool, honestly. I was a steward for the basketball. They were brilliant.
You never know where you're going with Walsh.
As you know, it was FA Cup final weekend in England. It was FA Cup semi-final north of the border as well. On Saturday, Aberdeen played Celtic at Hampden Park. The game finished 2-2 after 90 minutes, so it's gone into extra time. Matt O'Reilly put Celtic ahead after 105 minutes, only for Angus MacDonald to make it 3-3 with the very last kick of the game for Aberdeen. Goes to penalties. Celtic score their first 4, Aberdeen score their first 3, and then Ryan Duncan misses the 4th. Now, who's taking Celtic's 5th? It's only Joe Hart, the goalkeeper, so he's got a chance to win it in front of Celtic fans, and he misses. He hits the post.
I listened to it.
They score. Aberdeen score their 5th, so they go to sudden death. Anyway, let's cut a long story short. He goes from 0 to hero. Saves the second sudden death penalty from Aberdeen. He's retiring at the end of the season, and his last game is going to be the Scottish FA Cup final against Rangers.
You wouldn't want to go out on that, would you? You know,
no,
missing a penalty.
we were thinking from players who've gone from 0 to hero. I said David Beckham for what he did in the World Cup when he got sent off. You've got a good one, Walshy.
Oh, I thought you'd bring this up, Ewan.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're talking about Fulham.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So from 0 to hero, yeah. Now we'll never forget that game against Fulham. It was vital that we got back in the game, but we were losing 1-0. We were struggling with against Fulham.
It was the League Cup game, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
At Filbert Street.
Yeah.
What an atmosphere! And I was struggling with playing. I played a lot of long balls in that game and tore part my groin. And I decided in the second half to not play a long ball and play it inside to Jerry Taggart. And I think it was Pesca Salido who nicked in or someone. And it was embarrassing for me because, and more crucially, we were 2-0 down with I don't know how long left. But, obviously, me and Marshy smash and grab. Like me and you, Ewan. I laid one on a plate for Marshy and he just nodded one down in an area for me and I smashed it in the net.
2-2.
2-2. I didn't feel my groin at all. And but to score right in front of Leicester fans, I can tell you, you've done it. TC's done it, and it is such a fashion. The whole
Cop
ground,
as well.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, Trey's just sending shivers now.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
You were the hero on a number of occasions.
But
so we had to
I
find
couldn't
one
have
where
gone
you were
out.
the
Do you know
zero
what?
at first. And
I was close to the end then, and I know I missed the cup final because that elbow incident against Chelsea. But that game was nearly my last game, really. And I wouldn't have liked to have gone on that. And that, that flashed through my head at the time. I thought, I've got to get us back in this somehow.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. Yeah.
Fair play.
TC, any memories, any missed pens that you've gone on and scored the winner?
How many?
There's been plenty, you, and I'm forever grateful for Walshy, by the way, for that Fulham game because obviously we got to the final and that. So I was actually injured playing the game. So yeah, forever grateful, Walshy, for that. Despite the mistake, I forgive you. Don't worry about that. Plenty of missed penalties, and the worst one, Ewan, is when you miss such an easy chance, and I sort of prided myself in not missing the easy chance, but obviously everyone does it. And I remember one game back in the 80s when I was playing for West Ham, I must have missed from 1 yard out. I hit the post from 1 yard out, and you think, oh my God, we're drawing 1-1 against a really good Man United team, and then I scored the winner. So everyone was moaning I couldn't score from a yard out, and then I've scored the winner. You win 2-1, and it can change very quickly. It's interesting with goalkeepers taking penalties. Ederson took one for Man City the other night, didn't he, in the Champions League? So I'm not a fan of it, but it is interesting when the goalies take the penalty.
When you talk about pressure as well, I remember taking one for Leicester and missed it. I think Walker was in goal away at White Hart Lane. And I honestly, O'Neill, I don't know why I was taking the penalty in the first place. But I looked round when everyone looked at me.
No one fancied it?
No, I was told I was taking it. But I'd forgot, it just gone out of my head. And they're all looking at me, and I turned around as though they're looking at, and it was me, and right, yeah. So I went up and missed it. Luckily, Marshy scored a header, but I understand the pressure now when flipping.
I hated them.
My horse fell out, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
It's horrible.
Both Tony and yourself saying you
you
weren't a fan of the
can understand, yes, the Coventry thing, the pressure, and nowadays, it's hard to mentally deal with it. I understand you've got to be strong to get over something like that, and it's not easy. It's not easy,
Yeah. Right, speaking of Man City and Ederson, Nico has guessed, is it Jamie Vardy's cheeky flick against Man City for our Globetrotting, for our Lardle this evening? No, it isn't. Scott Blankley has guessed, is it Jamie Vardy against Everton? No, it isn't. We'll play you the fourth and final clue now. There's a clue with a goalkeeper in this as to who the opposition is. So see if anyone can get it now before we do our predictions for this evening.
And he slid it through to Jamie Vardy, and Jamie Vardy has given Leicester City the lead.
Well,
Once again, he scores against It's the first time he's done it at King Power Stadium. Right-footed. It's hammered beyond Johnson.
Yes.
Right.
Ewan has mouthed the correct answer to me. So let's see if anyone can get it at home, either on YouTube or on Facebook. Well done to.
Gave the stats, didn't I, earlier? So
you gave the stats earlier.
Guessed, didn't I?
Yes, so there is an obvious link there. Right, we're going to finish with our football Jenga. So before we do the predictions, I will read out tonight's question, which I know Walshy was so excited when he was coming on extra time because it meant he could do football Jenga at the end.
Yeah.
So we
playing against the quiz master and someone who's
the quiz
Mr.
master.
Statman. So TC used to be the honestly so good.
Yeah, well done by the way to Scott, who's got the answer right finally. Third time lucky on YouTube there with the Lardle. Right, tonight's theme for Jenga is name any goal scorer from this weekend's fixtures in the top 4 English leagues and FA Cup. So anyone that has scored in the top 4 English leagues and FA Cup over the weekend. So there are an awful lot of goal scorers then to pick from. So we could be, but we have got Walshy in the studio. So
yeah, no, it won't be all night.
Prove me wrong. Yeah. Right, you guys can start writing down some answers while I look at the predictions. So ahead of every weekend, we take a look at 5 championship games and we predict them. Matt Elliott was on the predictions for the Matt and Jerry team this week. Let's see how we've got on. So if you get the correct result, i.e. if we'd have said a Cardiff win, we'd get 1 point. If we'd said 2-0, 2-1 to Cardiff, we'd get 3 points. Nobody then gets anything for that one. No one predicted a Cardiff win. Ewan was the closest there at saying a draw. Millwall away at Sunderland. Everybody predicted a 1-1 in that one. And Millwall got the victory away at the Stadium of Light. So nothing for everyone again there. 1-1 at Norwich against Bristol. Nobody gets that one right either. It's not gone well so far. Stoke 3, Plymouth 1. I'm the only person to get a point in that one. I predicted a home victory there. And finally, QPR 1, Preston 0. Matt Elliott, well done, Matt. He got spot on. Both Ewan and Tony also predicted home victories there. I didn't, so I only get 1 point, which means I'm still rooted at the bottom of the table. And there's only one extra time to go as well next week, so that's some gap to claw back. Matt and Jerry, though, storming into the lead. Tony, do not let the Matt and Jerry team win. That's up to you.
I'll do my best then
to get the predictions in. Right, you guys have had a mini head start against me. Might as well wrap up the answer of the Lardle. Well done to Scott, who said Vardy against West Brom. So West Brom was the answer to our Lardle this week, of course, for that fantastic record that Ewan mentioned he has against West Brom. Right, I'm involved as well, Walshy, in the football Jenga. I've only just been texted the question. So there's the 4 of us going head to head. So it's any goal scorer in England's top 4 leagues and in the FA Cup over the weekend. I will go first, and I will say Harry Maguire. I guess start things off. So Walshy, you can go second for us, please.
I'll go for Liverpool. Trent scored.
Tony, you're up next for us, please.
We'll go Jamie Vardy.
And Didi.
I will say Wallace.
Yeah,
Cheers, Chief.
I'll go Jota.
I didn't see any football yesterday. I was in London watching the marathon.
Okay. Mikel Antonio.
Scott McTominay.
Haji Wright.
Odegaard.
Yeah.
Oh, this is not bad, are they?
Yeah, that's all right.
Walshy.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Elliot Sims, Coventry.
I know the Luton one, but I can't think of his name.
Aribo.
Callum O'Hare.
It's Berry for Luton scored. Berry, was it? Is it Joe Berry or? Oh, do I have to get the full name right?
No, just surname.
Berry.
Luke.
Yeah, I remember that was his 5-1, wasn't it?
Done.
Luke. Yeah.
Eze for Crystal Palace.
Kean Ashford.
That the one?
I'm going for the Welsh teams
yeah,
now.
I was just thinking that. Who was it instead? Ryan Gravenberch.
Dwight McNeil for Everton.
I'll be here all night, couldn't we?
Diego Jota for Liverpool.
Ooh.
Oh,
Had
I
it.
said that,
We've
TC.
had it, TC.
You say that?
Yeah,
TC.
Walsh said it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
boys. It makes it easier.
Yeah. So only 3 of us left. Unlucky that.
I'm
Tony.
going to go
Nasty
for
way to go.
Famara Jeju, I think you pronounce his surname.
I've got 2 left.
Well done. I will say ex-Leicester, Timothy Castagna.
Oh, I thought you had.
Yeah, I've got Goodmanson. Goodmanson, Burnley, is it? Is it Burnley? Yeah. They scored about
Yeah.
4 or 5, didn't they?
You definitely watched Match of the Day, didn't you?
Yeah.
Is it me?
Yes, mate.
I'm going to go
I've
for
only got 1 more.
Ronald for Swansea.
I think Ewan's winning this. Jean-Philippe Mateta for Palace.
You got that up on your computer. Hamer, Sheffield United.
Hamer, good shout. I'm going to go for Jerry Yates.
Oh. I think I might be out here. Was Bernardo Silva? Did he score for City?
Yeah, scored the winner.
Oh. But I'm thinking Crystal Palace. Eze.
Had it. We've had it.
Eze.
Had it. Someone's guessed that one.
Have they?
I said that. Okay,
Yeah.
I said it.
Eze. Oh, right.
Is that your answer?
No, we've let him off there.
Oh, you've let me off.
Yeah,
Let
there
me
you
off.
are.
Oh, come on.
You did do that for me when I said Jota.
We scored Liverpool's the other one.
I think we've had all
Oh, I'm
those.
done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay, you're giving up then?
Well, I have to, don't I? What am I gonna
Yeah,
do?
you're not going to guess a single.
Salah.
No.
Oh, I knew it
You
wasn't.
mean, mate? Jamal Lowe.
I think I'm in trouble here.
Ewan.
Elise, did he score for Palace?
That's who I meant. That's who I meant. Oh, Eze.
I'm gonna
Jose.
go Liam Walsh.
Yeah, I'm struggling now. Trying to think of anyone that could have played.
Did you actually know, Ewan, that we were going to be doing this?
No.
This one? No.
I'm lucky because I was at Huddersfield.
Trossard.
No, I'm struggling.
Nah, touching.
I'm going to go. He must have scored because Wrexham scored 3. Paul Mullin.
Lyndon Dykes.
Oh, now I'm in trouble.
That's it.
I am
This
in
one.
trouble.
Time faults.
Wait
Yeah, where's the
got a minute
time
of the
check?
show
It's nearly
left.
7 now.
And Buemo.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a great answer.
Could win you that.
Who were they
Ewan.
playing against? Who did Brentford play?
Don't matter.
Yeah, Luton. yeah.
Oh, that might have won it. I think that's won it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Timed
Tell you
out.
what,
Fair enough.
Didn't
Well
give you as
done,
much
Ewan.
time as I gave Ewan there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dubious that, isn't it?
Very.
Dubious. But yeah, well done, Ewan.
Well done,
I'll give
Ewan.
you that. There's only one to go in a couple of weeks, of course, because the next game is Monday, isn't it? Against Preston on Monday. Well, we are not long until the end of the show, so Tony Cottee, you've got something you'd like to say, haven't you?
Dan, all I was going to say is my last show. I was going to be doing the last extra time on the Monday, but I've decided to take a well-earned holiday. I've not been away since September before you say anything, boys. So I'd just like to say thank you to all the Foxes fans for watching the show. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And let's hope they get the results over the next 3 games. Boys, it's been a pleasure. See you next season.
Lovely.
Cheers,
Thank you
next
very much.
season. I thought you were quitting it until then. Take for a minute.
No,
All the best,
no,
mate.
enjoy your
Where you
break.
going anyway? Where you going?
Where you going, Tony?
I don't know yet, Dan. I haven't booked it, but we are 100% going. We're waiting for the weather report because Europe's still quite cold at the moment. So not sure yet, but I'm definitely going away.
Nice one, Tony.
Enjoy,
Well, we'll
pal.
definitely have you back in August, of course. Thank you to Walshy
Yep,
for
cheers,
stepping
everyone.
in fairly last minute for us tonight. Thanks as ever to Ewan. Bubba says, well done, Ewan, for winning.
Thank you, Bubba.
The Jenga at the end there. You are on Matchday Live with us tomorrow. Then, of course, we've got that Monday game with Preston, in a week's time. So we'll be back for the final extra time of the season in 2 weeks. But do join us for that huge game with Southampton tomorrow. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. That means we'll be live with Matchday Live from 7, of course. And let's keep a close eye out on that game tonight. Come on, Middlesbrough.
Yeah, come on.
Against Leeds, of course. Right, have a great evening, everybody. We'll all be glued to the tellies and the radios, I'm sure, this evening to find that result out. And we'll all be bouncing into King Power Stadium tomorrow.